Hello. Hi. Hi, everybody who hasn't seen me in like a million years. Hello, hello, hello. If you're new to my channel, my name is Josie. Welcome to Eccentric. The title of this video is You're Lying, and That's Why You Don't Have It Yet. I'm going to move this mic, but I don't want to electrocute myself at the same time. Anyway, I would like for anybody who's watching this to please say something in the comments so I can make sure that you can hear me before I even get into it, because drama today. Uploading these videos. Oh, that's why y'all haven't seen me. Just so you know, I've been shooting the 2022 videos. So let me know if you can hear me. Uploading is kind of the hardest part of all of that. But I'm gonna have to throw energy into it and ask for some help and divine assistance in getting these videos uploaded and backed up. Um, so anyway, the title of this video is You're Lying, and That's Why You Don't Have It. And I was inspired because I watched a video about how so many different cultures and belief systems have said over and over again, you've got to feel it. You got to feel it as if it is done, right? So a lot of times, especially in our communities, right? What happens is we'll be doing manifestation work, energy work, whatever, spiritual work, just period. And we like to, be in competition where there is no competition. Oh, well, that person is a better healer than me. Or, um, oh, I'm not as good as that person, or I'm not as powerful, or I can't manifest like that. Things like that. And here's the deal. The problem is you're looking outside of yourself, first of all, right? And you're reinforcing something that is not your truth. It's kind of like saying one thing and taking a completely different action. It's confusion, and confusion does not move forward. Confused energy just sits there and loops and compiles on itself. It doesn't move forward. So check in with yourself and find out, am I saying one thing and doing something completely different? You know, and understand, especially like on the quantum field, everything goes, everything is a possibility. So this is why you see some people, they'll be like, I can't do it, I can't do it, and then they do it, because it works both ways. Okay, because they're saying they can't do it, but they feel like they can. And then when someone isn't doing it, whatever it is they're trying to do, it's because they're saying they can do it, but they don't actually feel like they can do it. Okay. So, in a society where we are groomed and programmed to not feel and be desensitized, and, a society that is literally murdering empathy, okay, it is very easy to have that confusion happen and have, circles of repetitiveness and be stuck in loops, because that's where they want you stuck, right? They don't want you to match your thoughts and your words and your emotions, because that by itself, whether you practice spirituality, witchcraft, energy healing, it does things, and your words, that's just straight powerful, just period. No matter what title or definition you want to put on it, things start to happen. Okay. So the dilemma and the part that people leave out, because they're constantly telling you, oh, your words and your actions have to match, or your words and your emotions have to match in order to manifest, in order to do this and that. You got to feel it, you got to feel as though it's there. Well, How do you do it? How? How do you get your brain to not automatically sabotage when you're trying to feel as if something is already done? How do you get that to not happen? Well, it starts with being honest with yourself. It starts with checking in with yourself. You're either one or two people. You're either the person that does not feel that you can do it, but you're saying you can, or you're the person that feels like you can, that that doesn't, that I can't even, Lord have mercy. We got this. Or you're the person that feels like you can do it, but you're saying that you can't do it. Okay? The drama. Um a lot of times what you will notice with people who are out there living their best life is that they will tell you, they will make sure that you understand that they do get scared. Yes, they do get intimidated, but you would never know based off of their actions because they know in their heart that they're going to be okay or that they're going to be successful. They know it, even though they may have moments where they're like, man, I can't do this, I can't do this, but yet their actions still try and then they're successful. Um, there's no one way to get what you want, okay? As the feeling, the emotion is the biggest part of it all because it's literally energy in motion. So for both sides, there's still this marrying of energies that needs to happen, okay? Because if you're saying you can't do something, but you're doing it and you're doing it well, you could be doing it even better, but you're holding yourself back, okay? And if you are feeling like you can't do something and you're out there trying to be the expert and telling people you can and you can do it the best, you're also holding yourself back from actually being able to be the best at whatever it is that you claim you can do, but you don't feel like you can actually do it. You don't feel like you're the best. Okay. So that's when you got to sit with yourself and you got to ask yourself, well, why? Let's talk to that 5 year old because the 5 year old knows everything. Okay. Get with your 5 year old and say, okay, well, why is it that you feel like you can't do this, but you're telling everybody you can? What is it that you need? Why are you doing this? Is it because you want people to like you? Is it because you feel inadequate somewhere? Where is that? You know, if you want people to like you, why? Do you not like yourself? Is that a need that you are, because you'll find that the issue has nothing to do with the thing that you're claiming you can do, but you feel like you can't do. There's an issue somewhere else, unrelated, that is affecting your feelings not matching your words. Okay. So your 5 year old's gonna help you find that because your 5 year old wants to know why everything. So you got to get into that. You got to sit with yourself, sit with that 5 year old and say, well, why am I walking around telling people that I'm the greatest of all time and I can do this? You know, am I desperate for something? Am I because to a certain point, depending on what it is, you're being reckless and you're involving other people and it can be dangerous, right? So why do I need this to happen or need this to be so bad that I'm trying to skip steps, that I'm not really operating from integrity and I don't care how it happens. I just need it to happen, even if it's fake, even if it's not really true. Where is that? Where is that coming from? Do you see what I mean? You've got to go and look for it. You can't be afraid to feel, though. Okay. And this is not a process where you are going to be judging yourself. This is a process where you're going to be indifferent. This is a process where you're going to be like, okay, that's there. Okay, that's there. Well, what is it that I actually want? Because it's all there, but you've got to focus on what you actually want. So, in the story of the person that is saying that they're the best energy healer on the planet, they're telling everybody this, they're advertising, their bio is saying some off the wall stuff, and it's creating expectation. Okay. So, this person, though, themselves, they don't actually believe that they're the best healer, energy healer on the planet. So when this person goes and does that work with their 5-year-old self and says, well, why am I even claiming this in the first place if I don't actually feel this way about myself? What is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I'm expecting? And then they may say something like, well, when I was little, nobody ever told me I was the best at anything. And I just want to be the best at something because I see the way people treat those people who are the best at something. It could be something that simple, okay? And then you realize, oh, well, the issue is that you never got to be the best at something based off of what other people determined who was the best, right? And nobody ever determined you the best at something, okay? Um, so you want that. You're grown now and you just want to be the best at something because you like the way that people are treated when they're the best at something. How can you get that same feeling without needing the consent of other people? How can you get the feeling of being the best at something without somebody actually having to validate that or tell you that? That's when you got to start exploring. How else can I get this feeling? How can I provide this feeling for myself, even though nobody has ever given it to me? How can I take responsibility in the now and say, I am responsible for making myself and authorizing myself to be the best all time at whatever it is that I choose? So you'll find that you need to take responsibility for something. You'll find that you've got to be honest about the reason why you're even doing it in the first place, and that it probably has something to do with something totally unrelated, but it's holding you back. You will find these things when you take the hand of your 5-year-old and you go down the why rabbit hole. Okay. Now, for the person who is constantly saying, I can't do it, or this is not for me, and all this and that, yet they're doing it and they're doing it well, they could be doing better. They could be they could be experiencing greater. So they're holding themselves back. So when they take the hand of their 5-year-old self and they go on that why journey, well, why is it that every time, even though I've proven to myself over and over again, hey, love, I've proven this to myself over and over again that I can do it. So why do I keep saying I can't do it? Every time I'm faced with a challenge, every time that I have to express my intelligence or my talent, I am talking the whole way through backwards. I'm saying I can't do this, but I'm doing it well. And people are giving me feedback telling me I'm doing it well. But yet I have this thing where I'm saying I can't do it. So the 5-year-old says, why is that? Where is this coming from? Why do I not own the fact that I'm awesome and I'm really good at what I do? Why am I not owning it? And then you'll go and look for the reason why, and you'll figure out that maybe when you grew up, people didn't like when you did something because you always seem to do them well. And they are the ones that kind of made you feel bad for doing something good or being a natural talent. So you suppressed that and you probably turned it into something mentally like, oh, well, yeah, I might be good at this, but I don't want to be too good at it because then I don't want people to not like me or hate on me or be mad at me. I don't want extra attention, whatever the case may be, because of something that happened a long time ago. Maybe you had toxic parents or siblings or whatever, and they were like, they just couldn't stand that you were good. So now everything you do, even though you're doing it well, you don't own it. And you're just like, yeah, well, I was lucky or I'm not as good as this person or that person. And that keeps you from actually standing fully in your power and your glory. And actually, for a lot of you in this scenario, you're visionaries. You're supposed to set trends. You're supposed to take something that is already happening and create a new way of it happening. You can't do that if you're constantly limiting yourself and you're just being good enough at something, but not great because you don't want to ruffle feathers, okay? Because you're going to always feel like you're like boxed in or suppressed in some kind of way, and that will kill your soul. Your soul will not like being in this experience because your soul is constantly trying to get you to do more and do bigger, and you're like, no, nope, don't want to hear their crap, don't want to get backlash. I just need to, coast. And your soul is like, no, you were made to fly. Have you ever seen a jet coasting? Are you kidding me right now? Your soul is like, dude, you were made to fly. You were not made to coast. You're not like parasailing, okay? And you're gonna constantly have that constriction energy, and it can affect you. Okay, find out why it is that you feel the way you feel if your mouth is not matching your feelings. And this applies not only to manifestation or wanting to do something, it applies to interpersonal relationships with other people, because sometimes we can want people to see us one way, but our actions are causing them to see us a different way, and then you always feel misunderstood. Well, why are your actions not matching what you're saying or what you are trying to put out there? Where's the mismatch? Where's it coming from? And a lot of times you will find that you have to give yourself authority because you're giving your authority away, and you got to be honest with yourself because you're probably lying to yourself about something, and it's not your fault you're lying to yourself about it. The was created a long time ago due to some circumstances that you were simply trying to identify and adapt to. Okay, so if somebody left you, if you were abandoned and you never got closure, you have to make up in your head just to be able to move forward. Oh, well, this is why it happened. And a lot of times you turn it on yourself. So then you create this whole idea that, oh, well, I'm not a good enough listener. So this is why. And then you carry that forward with you and you think that you're not a good enough listener. That person never told you that either. They never said it. You said it to yourself based off of the circumstances that happened around you. They never said that. They never said anything. But the brain wants to think, it wants to come up with meaning and symbolism, and it wants to assign and has to do something. So then you got to go back and undo it. You got to go back and get yourself out of that trap. Okay? So whatever it is that is causing you to be backwards, it's important that you find that out so that your thoughts and your words match your emotions. Because when you are saying, I want a new house, you deserve it or you can have it, it's still not going to be like the house that you wanted. You're not going to be completely fulfilled. You may get a new house that comes with a whole bunch of problems, and then you convince yourself, well, I got my new house, it could have been better. You see what I mean? The experience could have been better. A lot of times we limit ourselves because we were programmed to limit ourselves. We limit ourselves, and what happens is the universe, source, creator always has something bigger and better in mind for you than you do. And in order to tap into that and actually really be able to receive, you've got to go and reprogram the beliefs that you've created and the thought patterns that you've created. And in order to do that, you got to go in and ask that 5-year-old why. But you can't go in asking questions without self honesty. How are you going to go and ask your questions? Like, how are you going to go ask the 5-year-old self, um, why is it that I don't feel like I'm good enough, but I'm doing this thing and people are telling me that I'm awesome? You have to admit that you don't feel like you're good enough. Sometimes it's that part. That's the beginning. Because you've mentally convinced yourself that you're thinking and feeling the same thing when it's not true. You have to admit that you think that you're not good enough before you can even start asking the questions. Just like you have to admit that you are good enough in order to ask your 5-year-old, why is it that you keep saying you're not? So that self honesty from jump is going to be your key to even getting a door and go and reprogram some things. Okay, that's the access code, self honesty. And then when you get in, that's when you can start rabbit holing and saying why this and why that. Where is this coming from? Where is that coming from? But while you're in there, you cannot judge yourself or situations because you're literally going into the quantum field of all possibilities. Yes, that possibility happened. However, this possibility that could have happened is also there. So you're able to go back and choose the possibility that could have happened and actually take that on as your new thought form and actually feel it as if you had that experience instead. Okay, it's totally possible. um the energy that we're coming up on, there's a lot of quantum mechanics happening in a very real way. So it's very important that your thoughts and your feelings and your words are aligned, because it's too easy for people to be miserable in the now because of how pliable the energy is and how much more aware a lot of us are and how a lot of us are manifesting. You got your individual self and then you got the collective. Hello, Beth. Um, so you have got to take responsibility as a creator. You have got to understand that even if you don't want more for yourself, sometimes your soul came here to have more, and it's part of your path, and you're just good. And a lot of times the reason for that is because you're intended to help a lot of people, and this is why you need more. It's not just, oh, my soul wants more and that's it. you know that's not the case at all. But I'm telling you, in order to get what you want, you got to be honest with yourself about how you feel about possibilities first. And if there's any discrepancies that you find, ask yourself, why do I not feel this way about this possibility that I would like? Why do I not feel it? Why am I not attracting it? Why do I not feel attracted to it? Restrictive. It should be expansive. What's going on here? Okay? You got to step outside of yourself in order to see this stuff, okay? Um really dig into yourself. Wonder. Don't be afraid to wonder. Too many people are adulting out there. Adults don't like to wonder anything. They don't sit down and stare at ants and freaking wonder what an ant's life is like. Most people think that that is trivial or, something kids do or whatever. But a lot of other people who do wonder about things, they watch ants. They'll watch a freaking leaf fall from a tree and they will wonder if an angel was holding it and that's why it was twisting a certain way. They will wonder if it was just the wind. You've got to be okay with having an imagination and wondering things. It's okay if the reality doesn't match what you imagined. You got to be able to let that go too. You know how many times my response to something is like totally left field? Somebody can say something simple, literally. They can mention a seahorse. They're thinking practical, seahorses, saltwater, ocean, whatever, right? And I'm like, somewhere else with this seahorse situation. And I'm like, oh my God, what if seahorses evolved and they had legs like spiders and blah, blah, blah? I'd be gone. And they be looking at me like, really though? And I'm like, are you not going to join in with my vision here? Seahorses with spider legs walking on land. You know what I'm saying? And they're looking like, no, I do not want to participate in your craziness. But some people do participate and we have a lot of fun with it. So just imagine if you could do that with something you're trying to manifest. If one day you wake up and say, man, what if I just started a nonprofit to make sure that the whole world experienced chocolate? You're going to either be around somebody who doesn't know you and they're like, that's so stupid. Or you're going to be around somebody that's like, okay, tell me more. What does it look like? That's how you know who's for you and who's not. There's no expectation. Ain't nobody gonna get on the phone right then and there, but at least somebody's engaging with you and talking about it. That's how you know you're around the right people. Usually when we're talking to our soul fam, hey mom, when we're talking to our soul fam, we be getting into it. That's why it's so fulfilling. Because you can say anything and they will build on it. And they'll be like, yeah, it's encouraging, it's expansive. It doesn't matter that you're talking about making sure the world gets chocolate or whether seahorses have freaking spider legs and they evolve to go and walk on land. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. What matters is the expansiveness of the energy and your belief in the possibility and the fact that you can feel it. Okay? All of that. Practice having fun in the experience. Stop adulting. Adulting is designed for something else that's not part of your agenda. Okay? Your agenda is to come here and experience, just period. You see what I mean? You see how I just dropped you there? Most people after that wouldn't even know what to do. Come here and experience what? Your mind starts going nuts. Experience what? No, just experience. Yeah, but what? Because that's what your mind does. Stop it. Experience whatever the hell you want to experience in each moment. You came here to experience. Are you okay with that? If you're not, ask your 5-year-old why. Okay? Because you should be okay with the fact that that's where that sentence ended. Okay? it's very, very important that you get comfortable with possibilities and be okay with choosing the possibilities that you want and letting go of the possibilities that actually may have happened. They happened already. Yeah, they're there, but you don't have to hold on to it. You can choose another possibility, literally. The same way that you can choose to get up from your seat, you don't have to stay in your seat. You can get up and walk off and go do whatever you trying to do. The same way you can change the channel on the TV. You can go and decide at any point not to choose the same realities over and over again. Did you know that you are free? Even with all of the bondage that we're programmed into and all of the programming that is happening constantly, did you know that there's freedom? Like, you can still be free with all of these chains and all this and that. There's still freedom. It's crazy, I know, but man, all it takes is the hard part, letting go and choosing to focus on what you want and understanding why you where the origin was, why you even feel or think that way in the first place, and being honest about how you feel about it. Like, um, I do the work all the time. I bring it up, I talk about it. I'm like, man, why do I keep having fantasies about getting revenge on certain people, Scorpio moon? And it's not even negative, violent revenge. It's more so like a touche situation. Why does that keep happening? I got Scorpio moon issues. Why do I need for people to see that I'm not the person that they thought I am? Why is that a need? This stuff is real and it can change. You can change it. Cause that's the kind of stuff that holds me back from doing a lot of things. Um, More of the content of the old and the new, noticing more of the contrast in the new. Oh yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty. We are in that great cinnabar field. What are you gonna do with it? If somebody sets a big old chunk of molding clay in front of you randomly, there are so many people that I know personally that won't even question, won't even flinch, and they will just go into making something. But then there's so many other people that I know, even on a personal level, that will just look and they will sit there and argue and fuss about how they're not a sculptor. Why is this right here? What do you want me to do with this? Blah, blah, blah. Show up for the experience, man. Just show up. Humor me. I don't care if you just make it all flat. You did something and you weren't attached to the outcome. You just did something. You see what I mean? Like, oh my goodness. It's not that serious. That's another thing. Stop taking yourself so seriously, man. Learn to laugh at yourself. For real. Okay with being wrong. That's a big thing for people. People are not okay with being wrong. I be looking crazy sometimes, and I laugh at myself because of it. Because I will go on a tangent about this idea that I have about a situation, and then a few minutes later find out that that's not the situation at all, and I'll be like, "Oh," and it's funny to me. I don't get on my own case about not being right. I don't care. I think about how I looked when I was saying all of this stuff on my soapbox, and then that's not even the case, and I'd be like, "Wow." You know what I'm saying? Like, you just did that. And I appreciate it though. I still somehow appreciate that moment. I appreciate that thing about myself because I did a nice presentation. I wasn't right about any of it, but it was a good delivery, right? It was believable. And I just keep going. I'm not bothered. I just keep going on to the next thing. Man, look, people, I swear people think I'm rich, but I'm constantly asking y'all for donations and stuff. Y'all think I'm rich because I'm experiencing life. I'm having experiences. That's all. I'm attracting resources to me in all kinds of different ways. I pay so many bills without actually paying them myself is ridiculous. I'm starting to get real good. Um, People are outside of you. You see what I mean? Like there's you, and then there's the people outside of you. You're here to have an experience, but there's other people too. And guess what? You can join your experience with yes, you can. hmm You can choose to go to the park by yourself and just express yourself or with nature, or you could go to the park with your friend and you two can express yourself with each other and nature. That turns into a whole drum circle. It's a whole thing, you know, instead of just you being right there by yourself. I mean, sometimes it's good to be alone, of course, commune with nature, but I'm saying expansion. Or y'all could decide to invite two more people, maybe go live while you do some flips in the park or whatever. Expand on your experience with other people. So if you're wondering how I do a lot of stuff that I do, it's because I don't do it by myself. And I'm usually expanding on my personal experience with the collective, with other people. Hey, I feel like going to Arizona. Want to come? I'm not thinking about their work schedule. I'm not thinking about nothing. Either you want to come or you don't. Either you can, either this is a synchronicity or it's not. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going. You coming with me? Either that person asks I can't go, or they may make arrangements to do something randomly because they've been needing it. They want to go, or they may just right away say, "Yeah, I'm down. I ain't got nothing going on." You see what I mean? Or a million other possibilities. Either way it goes, I'm expanding on my experience, or I'm offering the option to expand on my experience because that is a possibility. It is possible for me not to have to go to Arizona by myself. I can go with somebody else. And then when we get there, it is possible for us to go to the vortexes and have a whole crazy spiritual experience. Or it's possible for us to just stay at the hotel and go someplace local, wherever we're at. You know what I'm saying? Like the possibilities don't ever end. Get expansive, okay? Expand. Be aware of how you expand too. I want y'all to take everything I said in this video and I want you to consciously make yourself aware of when these things are happening and how. This is another thing. You got to remember you're manifesting. You got to remember how you got from point A to point B. You know how many times, especially when I'm in Jacksonville, somebody will call me and be like, "What are you doing?" I will say, "Oh, I ain't got nothing going on. I'm just here, at the apartment or whatever." But I know in my head that the moment somebody asks me, "What am I doing?" and I decide to tell them that I'm not busy, that I might not come home until midnight, and a lot of stuff is going to happen in between that time that I left and midnight. I don't know what, but it always seems to happen. They'll be like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm going to come pick you up." I don't sit there and ask where we're going or who we're going to be with or blah, blah, blah. I'll be like, "All right, I'll be ready in like 30 minutes." And then we out there. And so much happens. And we're in the same city as everybody else who don't even want to cross the bridge, but we have the most experience. we will go by the grocery store, then we'll find ourselves in the park. We might go to the beach. We might meet somebody, total stranger, while we're out just doing stuff without a plan. And that stranger may invite us to somewhere later on that day, because this is how my life happens. Seriously. You ask anybody that knows me, it just goes. And then before you know it, it's 1 a.m. and you're showing up in somebody else's clothes because you jumped in the ocean fully clothed and you had to dry off and you got like somebody else's clothes on. I mean, this happened. So, yeah, that part. Have fun. You see? Like Qigong for the mind. I like that, mom. Qigong for the mind. Yeah, it is kind of like a martial art, getting you to feel what you think. But yeah, this video was about feeling what you think, even though we went on a labyrinth. Just, yeah, I gave you the tool. Now just try it. Just try it for shits and giggles. Just try it. Don't take it seriously. Just see if you can catch yourself actually feeling what you're thinking, or where you need to make some adjustments so you can do so. You got to pay attention to both and know the difference. Get more of what you want. Okay? So I'm going to let y'all go because I went on a tangent and noise is about to happen. So have a beautiful day, loves, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.